Chapter 6, Episode 6, Whispers in the Woods. Sabrina and Quill ventured into the forest, their footsteps muffled by the thick carpet of fallen leaves. The usual cacophony of birdsong and rustling branches was conspicuously absent, replaced by an eerie silence that hung heavy in the air. As they moved deeper into the woods, the atmosphere shifted. The air around them shimmered with an otherworldly energy, creating distorted reflections that danced and twisted like mirages. Sabrina squinted, trying to make sense of the warped images that flickered in and out of existence. Their path suddenly illuminated as glowing mushrooms sprouted from the forest floor. The luminescent fungi formed intricate patterns, weaving a trail that beckoned them further into the heart of the woods. Sabrina knelt to examine the mushrooms, her brow furrowing in concentration. "These aren't random," she murmured, tracing the patterns with her finger. "I've seen these symbols before in the ancient texts at the library. They're magical runes, Quill. But what are they doing here?" The hedgehog familiar chirped in response, its quills beginning to glow with a soft, pulsating light. Quill's eyes widened, and it began to hop excitedly in place, sensing a surge of magical energy nearby. Sabrina stood, brushing the dirt from her knees. "You feel it too, don't you?" "There's something powerful here, something hidden." As they continued along the mushroom-lit path, the magical energy in the air intensified. The shimmering reflections grew more pronounced, and Sabrina could swear she saw glimpses of other places, or perhaps other times, in the distorted images. The path widened, leading Sabrina and Quill into a moonlit clearing. Their eyes widened at the sight before them. Flowers of every hue imaginable carpeted the ground, their petals swaying in an unseen breeze. But it wasn't their beauty that caught Sabrina's attention. It was the sound. The flowers whispered. Their voices, soft and ethereal, filled the air with an otherworldly language. Sabrina knelt, straining to catch the words. Quill's quills bristled, sensing the potent magic saturating the clearing. "I can almost understand them," Sabrina muttered, her brow furrowed in concentration. "It's like they're speaking in riddles." She closed her eyes, focusing on the floral whispers. Fragments of phrases drifted through her mind. Time of change, great awakening, balance restored. A sudden groan startled her. Sabrina's eyes snapped open, her gaze darting to the trees surrounding the clearing. The massive trunks creaked and swayed, their branches moving against the wind in an unnatural dance. "Quill, look," Sabrina gasped. The leaves on the trees began to change color rapidly. Green gave way to fiery reds and oranges, then faded to brown before falling away. New buds sprouted instantly, unfurling into vibrant green leaves. The cycle repeated, seasons passing in the span of minutes. Sabrina stood, turning in a slow circle as she took in the surreal scene. The whispers of the flowers grew louder, more urgent. The trees groaned and creaked, their branches reaching towards the sky. "This isn't just spring magic," Sabrina breathed, realization dawning. "The entire forest is alive with it, but it's too much, too potent." Quill chirped in agreement, its quills glowing brighter in response to the overwhelming magical energy. Sabrina knelt once more, placing her hand on the ground. She could feel the magic pulsing beneath her palm, wild and untamed. It was as if the very essence of spring had been concentrated and poured into this one spot. "We need to find a way to balance this," Sabrina murmured, her mind racing. "If we don't, who knows what might happen to Hallowville?" Sabrina and Quill pressed deeper into the forest, following the trail of glowing mushrooms. The air grew thick with mist, shimmering with an otherworldly light. As they pushed through the dense fog, they stumbled upon a hidden grove, its existence concealed from mortal eyes. The mist parted, revealing a breathtaking sight. Ethereal figures materialized around them, their forms translucent and ever-changing. These were nature spirits, awakening from their long winter slumber. Sabrina gasped, her eyes wide with wonder. The spirits drifted through the air, their bodies shifting between seasonal aspects. One moment, a spirit resembled a delicate spring blossom. The next, it transformed into vibrant autumn leaves. "Quill, look," Sabrina whispered, her voice filled with awe. "They're confused. It's like they don't know what season it is." The hedgehog familiar chirped in agreement, its quills glowing softly in response to the magical energy surrounding them. As Sabrina and Quill watched, the spirits swirled around them, their movements erratic and disoriented. Some flickered between forms rapidly, while others seemed stuck between two seasons, unable to fully manifest either. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled. Roots burst from the earth, twisting and growing until they formed the massive trunk of an ancient tree. Its bark was gnarled and weathered, etched with countless years of wisdom. The tree's branches stretched towards the sky, leaves of all seasons adorning its limbs. The tree spirit's eyes opened, glowing with an inner light. It fixed its gaze upon Sabrina, recognition flickering in its ancient depths. "Child of magic," the tree spirit's voice rumbled, sounding like creaking branches and rustling leaves. "You have come at a time of great upheaval." Sabrina stepped forward, her heart pounding. "What's happening? Why are all the spirits so confused?" The tree spirit's branches swayed, leaves of different seasons shimmering in the ethereal light. "We are beings of nature, tied to the rhythm of the seasons. Our awakening is meant to be gradual, a slow stirring as winter gives way to spring. But something has disrupted the natural order." Sabrina listened intently to the tree spirit's words, her mind racing to understand the implications. The spirits around them continued their erratic dance, their forms shifting and blending in a dizzying display of seasonal magic. "The surge of spring magic," Sabrina mused aloud. "It's thrown everything out of balance." The tree spirit nodded, its branches creaking. "Indeed, our natural cycles have been disrupted, and many of us find ourselves lost between seasons." As if to illustrate this point, a small figure emerged from the undergrowth. It was a young spirit, barely more than a sapling, its leaves alternating between vibrant green and autumn gold. It approached Sabrina timidly, its voice a soft whisper of wind through grass. "Why are we awake?" the sapling spirit asked, confusion evident in its flickering form. "It's too soon, isn't it? We're not ready." Sabrina knelt down, her heart aching for the young spirit's distress. "You're right, it is too soon. Something's gone wrong with the balance of magic in Hallowville." Quill chirped softly, approaching the sapling spirit. As it drew near, its quills began to change color, shifting from their usual dark brown to match the spirit's leaves. The sapling spirit watched in fascination, momentarily distracted from its confusion. Sabrina observed the interaction, a realization dawning. "Quill, you're responding to their energy, aren't you?" The hedgehog familiar nodded, its quills now a swirl of green and gold. As Sabrina pondered this, her thoughts turned to the missing artifact they'd been seeking. "The scepter," she murmured. "It must be connected to all of this. It's not just about balancing Halloween and spring magic. It regulates your sleep cycles too, doesn't it?" The tree spirit's eyes glowed brighter. "You are perceptive, child. The scepter is indeed crucial to maintaining the natural order. Without it, the seasons blur, and we awaken before our time." Suddenly, the atmosphere in the grove changed. The spirit's movements became more agitated, their forms flickering faster. Even the tree spirit's leaves rustled with unease. "There is more you must know," the tree spirit intoned gravely. "A darkness grows, one that seeks to overshadow the natural order. It feeds on the chaos caused by this imbalance." As the tree spirit's warning hung in the air, a new presence made itself known. A shimmering orb of light descended from above, pulsing with an ancient power that made the other spirits bow in reverence. The orb hovered before Sabrina and Quill, its voice resonating through the grove with a timeless quality that seemed to echo from the very roots of the earth. "Heed our words, child of magic," the ancient spirit intoned. "A great threat looms over Hallowville. A usurper seeks to overthrow the natural order of seasons, upsetting the delicate balance that sustains this realm." Sabrina's brow furrowed as she listened, her mind racing to connect the pieces of this cosmic puzzle. The spirit's words painted a picture of a larger conspiracy, one that threatened the very fabric of Hallowville's existence. "The equilibrium between Halloween and spring magic is not merely a quaint tradition," the spirit continued. "It is the lifeblood of Hallowville. Should the scales tip too far in either direction, the consequences would be catastrophic." As the spirit spoke, Quill inched closer, its quills beginning to glow with an intensity Sabrina had never seen before. The familiar seemed to be absorbing some of the ancient spirit's energy, growing stronger with each passing moment. The orb of light pulsed, and a small object materialized in the air before Sabrina. It looked like a seed, no larger than her thumbnail, but it radiated with an otherworldly power. "Take this," the spirit commanded. It will aid you in your quest to restore balance. But be warned, young one. The path ahead is treacherous, and not all is as it seems. Trust your instincts, for they will guide you when all else fails. As Sabrina reached out to take the seed-like artifact, the ancient spirit began to fade, its light dimming. Its final words echoed through the grove. The fate of Hallowville rests in your hands, Sabrina Everhart. May wisdom guide your steps. Sabrina and Quill emerged from the forest, their minds reeling from the ancient spirit's warning. As they approached Hallowville, the quiet of the woods gave way to a cacophony of activity. The streets buzzed with townsfolk preparing for the upcoming spring festival. Colorful banners fluttered in the breeze, and the air was thick with the scent of freshly baked goods. But beneath the cheerful veneer, Sabrina noticed subtle disturbances. Roses bloomed alongside pumpkins, with their vibrant petals a stark contrast to the autumnal gourds. Shadows danced at the corners of her vision, moving independently of their casters. "Sabrina!" Noah's voice cut through the crowd. He jogged up to her, worry etched across his face. "We've had a spike in reports of strange occurrences around town. People are seeing things they can't explain." She nodded grimly. "I'm not surprised. Noah, we need to talk. What I found in the forest, it's worse than we thought." As Sabrina recounted her encounter with the spirits, Noah's expression grew increasingly grave. So this festival could be more than just a celebration, he mused. It might be a cover for something sinister. "Exactly," Sabrina agreed. "And look around. Can't you feel it? The magical energies are all wrong." Indeed, as they walked through the festival preparations, Sabrina sensed conflicting magical currents. Spring magic clashed with Halloween energy, creating eddies of power that made her skin prickle. Quill, perched on Sabrina's shoulder, suddenly bristled. Its quills stood on end as it let out a series of agitated chirps. "What's wrong?" Noah asked, eyeing the hedgehog warily. Sabrina frowned. "Quill senses something, or someone. There are hidden magical presences among the townsfolk. We're not alone in our knowledge of what's happening." Noah ran a hand through his hair. "So what do? We can't just cancel the festival without proof." "No," Sabrina agreed, "but we can use it to our advantage. If we blend in with the celebrations, we might be able to gather information without raising suspicion." As they began to formulate a plan, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the town square. Suddenly, a small orb of light materialized in front of Sabrina. It unfurled like a flower, revealing an elegantly scripted invitation. Sabrina's eyes widened as she read the magical message. "Noah," she whispered, "I've just been invited to a secret gathering of Hallowville's magical community.